The U.S. House has passed a bill to keep the government running after tomorrow night. But in the Senate, Utah's Mike Lee and other Republicans are preparing to block that bill over vaccine mandate funding. Fox 13's Spencer Joseph spoke with the leader of a local union about how he is preparing to take care of people who could soon be out of work.
I don't want to shut down the government. The only thing I want to shut down is Congress funding enforcement of an immoral, unconstitutional vaccine mandate.
Senator Mike Lee has put his foot down on Capitol Hill over a continuing resolution. He and other GOP senators and representatives have become vocal with the resolution still containing funding for OSHA's vaccine mandate that has been halted in federal court.
If the choice is between temporarily suspending non-essential functions and, on the other hand, standing idle, as up to 45 million Americans lose their jobs, their livelihoods, and their ability to work. I'll stand with American workers every time. That's not a close question.
Well, I find that an interesting statement that he says that he will stand with the workers.
For Jeff Worthington,
but you shut the government down, you're not standing with the workers.
President of the Utah chapter of the AFL-CIO, he's worried about the potential shutdown for those he represents.
Those workers are dependent upon the money that they receive in a paycheck. To weaponize it like it has been and politicize it like it has been, it's just gone too far.
Especially with the timing.
Christmas coming up, presents to buy, taking care of their families, keeping a roof over their head, going into the holidays like this. It's reckless.
In Utah, those out of a job would include Hill Air Force Base, the TSA, and the IRS. Worthington also recalling how the last shutdown hit Utah workers dearly.
The only people that got hurt out of it were the workers, the TSA workers in particular.
So while federal workers worry about the potential for a shutdown, Senator Lee and other GOP senators are asking for the vaccine mandate to be voted on.
We can fix this situation right now. Let's hold a vote. Let's hold it right now.
All while Worthington gears up to take care of those potentially out of work.
But I think it's childish games that the government's playing.
The United States Senate has until midnight on Friday to agree to a continuing resolution. If not, at 12:01, the government officially shuts down. On Utah's Capitol Hill, Spencer Joseph, Fox 13 News, Utah.
A federal judge in Louisiana has blocked a federal mandate requiring healthcare workers to get the COVID-19 vaccine. The sweeping decision now applies to millions of workers across the country.
Paul Murphy reports the ruling is expected to have far-reaching effects on whether the Biden administration has the power to force people to get the shot.
Healthcare workers at hospitals that receive federal funding were facing a December 6th deadline to get a first dose of the COVID-19 vaccine or potentially lose their jobs. The Biden administration has argued that the rule is needed to slow the spread of the virus among millions of workers and Medicare and Medicaid patients. Tuesday, federal judge Terry Doty in Monroe, Louisiana, ruled the administration overstepped its authority. Loyola University law professor Dane Cialino says the mandate did not go through the typical notice and comment process that administrative law requires.
The promulgation of these sorts of sweeping administrative regulations is really akin to lawmaking. And of course, under Article 1 of the Constitution, only Congress can make laws, not the administrative branch.
The lawsuit was led by Republican Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry and joined by 13 other states. But Judge Doty added a nationwide injunction in his ruling. State Solicitor General Elizabeth Murrill is grateful the judge acted quickly.
Well, it would have affected thousands of people's jobs. It also would have affected thousands of services and jeopardized services in our Medicaid program.
Murrill added that the mandate put the state in the position of having to enforce the rule or lose $16 billion in Medicaid funding.
We aren't against vaccination. We are against coercion.
If Doty's ruling is contested, it would head to the 5th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in New Orleans. The court has already blocked President Biden's vaccine mandate for businesses with more than 100 workers.
It's a virtual certainty that the 5th Circuit will uphold the decision.
The Biden administration is expected to appeal the ruling. Paul Murphy, Eyewitness News.
Well, for now, private medical providers in Louisiana can still require vaccines as a condition of employment. The Louisiana Supreme Court is expected to hear a pair of cases over a COVID-19 vaccine mandate for employees at the Ochsner Health facilities in Lafayette and Shreveport. The High Court is expected to take up the matter next Tuesday.
Yeah, the Biden administration has said that all service members must get vaccinated. That includes members of the National Guard. But Governor Kevin Stitt has said that members of the Oklahoma National Guard don't need to do that. Neither side backing down. And new tonight, the state of Oklahoma has now sued the president to try to stop these mandates. A month ago, Governor Kevin Stitt wrote to Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin asking him to exempt Oklahoma's Guard members from the vaccine requirement. This week, Secretary Austin writing back denying the request and then saying the next day that Guard members who refuse the shot won't get federal paychecks and won't be able to go to trainings. A former Guard official saying this standoff is concerning.
Well, my fear is that if DOD and the state continue along their path, the fact is it could affect readiness because those soldiers can't go to basic training if they haven't been vaccinated. They can't go to their NCO schools. They cannot go to their officer career courses.
Senator James Lankford filing an amendment to the annual defense spending bill that would block the Pentagon from withholding pay from unvaccinated Guard members.
We also disagree with the interpretation of the Pentagon, who is not allowed to reach into a unit, select individual members and not pay them. That's not the way that it works.
And again, that new lawsuit just filed in federal court. The state wants a federal judge to declare these mandates unconstitutional, to stop them, and to stop the Pentagon from withholding funding and paychecks from the state National Guard. At the Capitol, Dylan Richards, KOCO 5.
The city of Oroville, California, was just voted to become a constitutional republic city to protect its citizens from the coronavirus mandates. Vice Mayor Scott Thompson says the city will be like a sanctuary city and is just following the precedent set by former Mayor Gavin Newsom, now governor, when he declared San Francisco a sanctuary city a few years ago. Vice Mayor of Oroville, Scott Thompson, joins us now. Scott, where'd you come up with this idea?
Hey, thank you so much for having me on. I was sitting at City Hall, and the mandates continue to come. As you know, it started with 2 weeks to stop the slow the curve, and it just seems like a carrot keeps being dangled in front of our faces of just a little more, and it seems like with every mandate that comes down, it is a loss of freedom. And so, sitting at City Hall, and I thought, well, Governor Newsom, at one time when he was San Francisco mayor, he declared San Francisco a sanctuary city against what he felt to be overreach from the federal government. And so I thought, well, can we do the same thing for us? We're a constitutional republic. We want to declare that. It's not we're not separating from California, but we're just reminding to the higher ups in other cities we need to stand up for our rights. We still are a constitutional republic, which means that we have rights endowed by our Creator. And our founders created a republic, which was genius, to separate powers. And we've been having this emergency mandate that's been going on for, it's going to be, in through March, it'll be past 2 years, where the governor will have executive powers just to have, dictatorship power to say what he wants to do, and we just have to abide by it.
All right, so listen, you can't control the schools. Everyone's got to get vaccinated, but you can stop his executive orders, and the city council supported you by a vote of 6-1. So there you have it. Final thought. You said this feels like a war. In what way?
I believe that worldwide, but especially in California, that the very fabric of our nation is at a crossroads of how much authority will let the government have. And I don't believe that anybody wins when the government has more authority. And I've said it before, and every time that you lose freedom, or a nation gives up freedom, usually it takes bloodshed to get it back. And we're getting threats of loss of money for our city. But for us, and especially for me, they can have their money. That we want freedom in California. We want freedom in Oroville, and so that's what we're standing up for.
Yeah, listen, we see what's happening in Europe. The virus is coming back. If it starts coming back here, you guys shut down everything. Worse than any other state. At least they're going to have a hard time doing it to Oroville when it comes to restaurants, gyms, and everything else. Mr. Mayor, I appreciate your time. Thanks for the insight. Best of luck.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
not encumbered by the federal government or don't require federal government. So I'm going to be recommending in the budget $3.5 million to reestablish the Florida State Guard. The Florida State Guard will act as a civilian volunteer force that will have the ability to assist the National Guard in state-specific emergencies. This funding will support the necessary training, equipment, and other support functions for up to 200 members who can aid in the response to hurricanes, natural disasters, and other state emergencies. We want to be able to have a quick response capability, and reestablishing the Florida State Guard will allow civilians from all over the state to be trained in the best emergency response techniques and have the ability to mobilize very, very quickly. And this is something that many other states have utilized, and I think Florida is in the minority of states that has allowed this to go defunct. So we're happy to be able to bring that back, and I think it'll be something that'll be good. I think you have over 20 state guards are recognized right now. So we'll add to that, and I think it'll be really, really important. So as somebody who's a veteran, I really appreciate what everyone who wears the uniform does in the state of Florida. I think that there's very few places that you would rather be doing duty in the state of Florida. You know, our National Guard, for how big our state is, and we're working to expand the personnel, but you know, they carry a big load. I mean, if you look at other states, much less population, their Guard is a larger percentage of their population than we are. So we have a massive state in terms of land, and then we also have a huge population. And we get it done, and we're obviously working to expand the capabilities. But it's been really, really great to see all the hard work. And look, we're really proud of our military installations. We're proud of what communities like this do to support the people who are on.